Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McCauley. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Hartford School Building Committee. I call this meeting to order at 12:05 p.m. First item on the agenda is roll call. Mr. Little, please.
Mr. Shay Ajayi,
Present.
Councilman Clark,
Present.
Ms. Sherry Davis Good,
Present.
Mr. Al Gary.
Present.
Okay, Mr. Silva did reply as he won't be able to make it. Mr. Clarence Corbin,
Present.
Board Chair Shantae Rowdy,
Present.
and Mr. Stephen Wilson. All right, with 5 voting members in place, we do have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Second item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes.
Steve just joined us as well.
Welcome, Steve. Thank you, Mr. Little. Is the acceptance of the minutes from October 20th, 2025. I'm sure we all had a moment and a chance to review. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
All
Raise
right.
your hands.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Third item on the agenda is public participation. The note, which I will now read. And I believe there was an amendment here, actually. So the note, as I read it, mentions public participation will be supported throughout the duration of the meeting by using the comments function on either YouTube, Facebook, by emailing comments directly to the Director of Capital Projects and Operations, Julia Jack, at julia.jack@hartford.gov prior to or during the meeting with the subject line, HSBC meeting question, as to ensure that the message itself is identified appropriately. And I know there was actually to this agenda, I know there was a specific question asked last time that I'd like to read to the record under this public participation topic, which was submitted by community, which is essentially asking a question around school projects being in this moment paused. I guess I would take this moment to read the question that's submitted, and then I'm sure we can address it in further discussion later in the meeting. The question statement starts as pauses of school construction projects with existing project labor agreements are currently keeping workers and residents out of work without reason or goals for the pause. Can this board please provide any insight to the public as to why the administration has implemented this pause and how long they intend to keep it in place? So I think we can use later in the meeting to at least broadly address that. We tend to speak to this in nature at the end of the meeting. The next item on the agenda is administrative, which I will flip to. This is no action required, but it is the appointment of Board of Ed members, and that is the Hartford Board of Education appointed the last meeting, the October 21st, 2025 regular meeting, Board Chair Stephen Wilson and Board Chairperson Shantae Brody to serve on the Hartford School Building Committee, and also specifies Corey Mills as the alternate for the board chair as necessary. I will also point out that Ms. Sherry Davis Googe continues to serve as the alternate as well for the superintendent under Townsville. Congratulations and welcome, Stephen. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the 2026 Hartford School Building Committee meeting calendar. If you would flip to the next page, I believe, there you are. Thank you.
Through the chair, just to clarify, this is the typical format, third Monday of the month, except for the months of January and February due to holidays that occur on the third Monday. This is consistent with past practice, and we ask your approval.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Davis Gooch. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Okay, hearing none, motion passes. Next item on the agenda is current projects under construction, Arcadis, SONG, CNR program management, several action items. Jack, please.
Thank you very much and good afternoon. First item before us today is, Kelly, could you zoom page width, please? Thank you. Change order number 39 to Newfield Construction for the Buckley High School renovation. The total dollar value of this item is $85,800. It has been reviewed and approved by the change order subcommittee, and we ask your approval. Change order committee.
Thank you, Jack. Can I have a second? Can I have a motion? Excuse me. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. May I have a second?
Second that.
I believe that was Mr. Corbin. Thank you.
Yep.
Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Jack, back to you.
Next item we have is purchase order increase number 7 to Meyer Incorporated for move services at Buckley High School. This will be in the amount of $50,746, and will cover the moves from the temporary north and south campuses back into the building for curriculum materials, etc. Again, the motion is for the amount of $50,746. And this has been approved by the change order committee, and we ask your endorsement.
Thank you, Jack. May I have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion to Ms. Davis Gooch, second to Mr. Corbin. Discussion on this item? I think point of clarity is the mayor is the same vendor that helps to move items out of Buckley.
That is correct.
Thank you. Hearing no other discussion items. Can I have all in favor say aye?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Any nays or abstention? Hearing none, motion carries. Jack, back to you.
Next action is a purchase order request to Bobcat of Connecticut. This is for a piece of custodial equipment for the Buckley campus. It's in the amount of $80,050.41. And it has not gone to the change order committee. We're coming to you for first approval, and we ask your approval of this purchase, which will complete the FF&E purchases for the Buckley project.
Thank you, Jack. Can I have a motion? And Jack, could you also speak to the reason why I didn't go to the change order committee?
The numbers came in too late to be included in the change order committee's agenda. This is coming directly to you so we can make this final purchase.
Thank you, Jack. Any further discussion on this purchase?
Question through you, Mr. Chair, to Jack, maybe. This not being eligible comes from the owner contingency then?
It's included within the value of the FF&E budget, but it would be ineligible for state reimbursement. But it was budgeted.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the clarifying question, Mr. Gary. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye or raise your hands.
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Jack, back to you.
Next item is purchase order increase number 1 to Extreme Networks for some additional technology switchgear for Buckley. There was an undercount on the number of devices. This is additional items being prepared at or provided at the price originally given for the number of similar items that were previously approved. The total value of this additional purchase is $68,550.82. This has been reviewed by the change order committee and we ask your endorsement.
Thank you, Jack. May I have a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. All in favor? Any discussion on this item? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say aye, raise your hands.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries. Jack, back to you.
Next before us is change order number 40 to Newfield Construction for the central administration portion of the Buckley campus. The total value is $1,805. It has been reviewed and approved by the change order subcommittee, and we ask your endorsement.
Thank you, Jack. May I have a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Any discussion on this particular item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye or raise your hands.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any nays or abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Jack,
Thank
back to
you. Next before us, we have purchase order increase number 8 to Meyer. This is for additional moves concerning the central office coming back to the Buckley campus. The value of this move is value of this purchase order increase for this move is $25,493.40. It's been reviewed and approved by the change order committee, and we ask your endorsement.
Thank you, Jack. May I have a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Give the second to Ms. Davis Gooch. Any discussion on this item? Pointing out that this item is budgeted but not eligible. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Any other questions on this item? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say aye or raise your hands.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Jack, back to you.
Next before us is change order 39 to PDS for the Burns project. Total value of this change order is $304,130. I'll point out the major item on this is the site work for the playgrounds at over $200,000. Just to clarify, when we were successful in receiving additional funding for this project, the new playground was put back into the scope of work. The budget for that new playground included the purchase of equipment and necessary site changes, drainage, and site prep that would make that possible. It was more efficient to have the drainage and site work done by the existing site work contractor than to have the playground vendor bring in their own site people. So this is money that is already budgeted within the increase in project scope to purchase the new playground. It's just being split into two pieces: the previously approved purchase of equipment, and today the commitment of funds for the site work itself. As I said, the total value of this change is $304,130. It has been reviewed and approved by the Change Order Committee, and we ask your endorsement.
Thank you, Jack. May I have a motion on this item?
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Garrity. Any discussion on this item? Okay, this is extensively discussed in the Change Order Committee meeting. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor say aye, raise your hands.
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Jack, back to you.
Next, we'll go into our project reports. Current budget and schedule change information has not changed for Burns, Buckley, and Buckley Central Admin. Next slide. As far as our EEO participation, we remain healthy at Buckley on both components. We're continue to exceed the minority and women labor participation at Burns, and we're still exceeding 25%, but short of our 30 for our Hartford residency. Next slide. As to our budget overviews for Buckley High School, we have paid to date through the end of October just short of $170 million and have been reimbursed by the state just short of 114 for about 69% reimbursement to date. For central admin, paid to date just short of 30 million and have received 19.5 or so, representing about 66%. We also have additional drawdowns for both of these projects that are due to be received in the month of November. Next slide. For Buckley, we are really in the home stretch as far as finishes and getting ready for occupancy. We do have student occupancy planned for the new year. Central office will be reoccupying the space and active by December 18th. And the commissary will be open in mid-January. The remaining site work and other project completion work will be done by May of 2026, at which time we'll be proceeding also with our project closeout with the goal of having the project documentation teed up for audit by the end of June. You'll see the considerable amount of site work is continuing on through the main building. We're finishing again from the top floor down, from the 4th floor down. A lot of final painting and touch-ups on the 4th floor as we work our way out of the building. Next slide. We have been doing final cleaning in the Board of Ed office space on the 4th floor, and we're getting ready for final paving for the main parking lot that serves the school and central administration, which is anticipated to occur, I think, 2 weeks from today. The demolition of the former auto shop building is complete, and we're currently doing site work and site access ramps, etc., into the commissary at this time, and putting the finishing touches within the commissary itself. Next slide. For Burns, we've paid to date about 50.75 million, received just short of 39 million from the state, for roughly 80% payment. There is also a $3.8 million payment that's in process and is expected to be received by the city in the month of November. Next slide. We are in the final phase of renovations within Burns. You'll see images of the new main entry lobby curtain wall being in place. There's some work on the front of the building, some facade work. The new windows into the auditorium are being in place. Again, this final phase includes the main office, auditorium, main entry work, and some site work. We're also working in the ground floor. We've got underground piping complete and floors patched. Next slide, please. And doing the finishing touches in the boiler room as we work on that lower space as well. Next slide. For Buckley, as I mentioned, final cleaning starting at the 4th floor, working our way out. Additional final cleaning through the month of December as we have furniture deliveries arriving starting today. There is going to be some staging of furniture within the building as we take on major deliveries, and not all areas have been finished and cleaned out, so that we will be doing some shuffling of furnishings as we go through the month of December. And then in January, ongoing punch list, final cleaning of the commissary before it begins operation, miscellaneous finishes and such. And then our auditorium and natatorium, the pool area, will be finishing in the new year. First the pool, and then by spring, the auditorium. Next slide. For Burns, again, main office and auditorium, lower level, and some site work continuing on. The grading for the playground is expected to be complete before the weather turns, and we'll be doing the playground installation in the spring, and then continuing our work through the auditorium, main office, and then the lower level spaces. I believe that concludes our written report. I'd be happy to take any questions. Ms.
Thank you,
Browder?
Jack. I see a hand raised from Ms. Brody.
Thank you. Could someone explain why Burns? Because you were talking about Burns, right, Mr. Buckus?
Yes.
Just now, why Burns was approved for auditorium and not Wish? The difference between the two?
Wish is a new build, and the new build had to follow the space standard, and the space standard did not provide sufficient square footage to recreate the auditorium. Burns is a renovation, and it already had one, and there was a space waiver due to the existing conditions. There was a space waiver granted for Burns.
Okay, so a point of clarity, if it had not been built new, we could have preserved the auditorium. Because I know it was some talk about not when for the age, like for the mind.
In the instance with Wish, one of the conditions of a renovate is new is you need to compare it to the cost of building new, and the less expensive version gets approved by the state. So that was the predicament that Wish found themselves in, because it was so much larger than the projected enrollment. Renovating a very large building versus building a smaller one to the projected enrollment caused the cost of the renovation to exceed the cost of new, and that's why Wish was pushed in that direction.
Thanks, Jack.
Okay.
That's very true, Ms. Brody.
But I wanted to another clarifying question on the auditorium, because it was something mentioned on the type, like the elementary versus middle school or high school as it pertained to the auditorium. No?
Through you, Chair.
Again,
Yes, please, Ms. Davis-Goge.
Yeah, I think it's just also important to clarify that at the end of the day, it is the state that decides what they will reimburse or build regarding the auditorium, Ms. Brody. So
Mhm.
I heard Jack talk about the space of the building versus the cost, but I think it's just important to note that that final determination comes from the state.
But I thought I remember the final determination had something to do with um, being that they're not funding anything for elementary schools to have
Oh, yes.
auditorium, but it does that only on new builds? Is that the caveat?
I think, Ms. Browdy, yeah, I think,
Yes.
Sherry's on point, and if I could maybe round out the description a little bit.
Mhm.
The state doesn't tell you you can't build something, they'll just tell you that they won't pay for it.
Okay, okay, understood.
And in the
I'm
situation
good.
with the 95% reimbursement,
Okay,
the cost of excess square footage becomes, very heavily, it weighs very heavily on the city.
okay,
That's
And
it.
thank
I'm
you.
sorry, but the state standard though, Jack, says elementary schools, they won't build a new auditorium, correct? But
The space standard, the space guideline does not include
guideline,
one. It is
yes.
not considered a typical space for an elementary school.
Mm.
If you chose to build one above and beyond the space standard, it would be on you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Jack, for the point of clarification there. Any other questions regarding Burns or Buckley? Again, Buckley is going extremely well, and we are now at next month. We're going to be ready for the following month after that for occupancy, which is exciting. Any questions on the project reports? The others?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Next, we will go to current projects under construction, Collier's project leaders. Judy.
Good afternoon, everyone. So the first item is for change order number 15 to Downs Construction for the Betances Learning Lab School. These proposed change orders were reviewed and approved by the change order subcommittee an amount of $37,402.10. And we're looking for your approval on today.
Thank you, Judy. May I have a motion on this item?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion to Ms. Davis Goose, second to Mr. Clark. Any discussion on this particular item? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye or raise your hands.
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Judy, back to you.
The next action item is for materials testing and special inspections. This is to Tri-State. This is particularly a PO increase for the Betances School. Particularly Tri-State is higher for quality control as well as making sure they test for requirements and standards as specified by the design team and the engineers. Particularly for Betances, for the addition, there were some additional steel needed within inside the existing building, as well as site work and unforeseen conditions that required additional testing. So this purchase order increase was for the amount of $30,000. This was reviewed and approved by the change order subcommittee, and we're looking for your approval on today.
Thank you, Judy. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. May I have a second?
second.
Thank you, Mr. Corbin. Discussion on this item? I think just to note, Judy, the original was just an estimate, right? And the change order calls for a true cost.
Yeah, so the 40,000 was the estimate based on what we thought that they would need for testing. And then the 30,000 is additional educated estimate as well, based on what we believe they have remaining for the project.
Thank you, Judy. Hearing no other discussion item on this topic, all in favor say aye, raise your hands.
Aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Judy, back to you.
The next item is for builder's risk insurance. This is for a purchase order to Arthur J. Gallagher for the Matanzas School. This particular insurance coverage was reviewed by the City of Hartford procurement as well as their risk management. The broker went by and provided us with 3 estimates. Chubb Insurance was actually the most economical out of the 3. The other ones were not comparable. So the total deposit premium was for $167,747. This particularly insurance is for anything that's not covered by the City of Hartford and the construction manager's liability coverage. This was reviewed and approved by the subcommittee, and we're looking for your approval on today.
Thank you, Judy. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Davis Gooch. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye, raise your hands.
Aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Judy, back to you.
Next item is for materials testing and special inspection to Tri-State. This is a purchase order increase for the E.B. Kennelly School. Similar to Matanzas, some additional testing was required, particularly for the addition, some site work and some unforeseen conditions. And this purchase order increase is for $30,000. This was reviewed and approved by the change order subcommittee, and we're looking for your approval on today.
Thank you, Judy. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye, raise your hands.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Any abstentions or nays? Okay, motion carries. Judy, back to you.
The next item is for builder's risk insurance to Arthur J. Gallagher for the Kennelly School. Similar to Matanzas, this is for additional insurance for the building. And this total deposit premium was for $175,968. This was reviewed and approved by the change order subcommittee, and we're looking for your endorsement for this purchase order.
Thank you, Judy. May I have a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Discussion on this item? And, I think it's just worth noting, this is insurance over everything that the city doesn't cover as stated. And it, is a highly important that we have this insurance. I'd say that. All in favor say aye or raise your hands.
Aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries. Judy, back to you.
The last item for review is for the Fred D. Wish School from Phase 2. This is for GMP Amendment 1.2. This is for bid package 2.23 for the mechanical, which was recommended for award to Enterprise Plumbing and Heating. Including within this GMP is the CM allowance, general conditions and fee, amounting to a total of $7,265,070. And this was reviewed and approved by the change order subcommittee, and we were looking for your approval.
Thank you, Judy. May I have a motion?
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. All in favor say aye, raise your hands.
Aye.
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 Thank you, thank you. Any nays or abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Judy.
So next page, please. For the equal employment opportunity status for Betances, Kennelly, and now Wish, we are exceeding for minority and women workers on site. We are also have met the percentage for 30% for the Wish project. We are currently for Betances and Kennelly, those numbers are slowly increasing. They're at 26.9 for Betances and 27.1 for Kennelly. I did attend the labor meeting last Tuesday, as well as with the construction managers by my side, reviewing how we can get these Hartford percentages up. There was a lot of emphasis from the labor unions to make sure they're meeting the 30% and exceeding it. So I will actually expect these numbers start to increase based on the emphasis that was provided by the leaders at the union. And also in addition to these labor meetings, we also have the construction team. They provide emails to the contractors who are not meeting these percentages almost weekly, bi-weekly. They're contacting them to see how they can increase these percentage numbers. Any questions as relates to the equal opportunity? Next slide. So Betances, the total project budget is at 73.4 million. Paid to date is at 15.7 million. Reimbursed to date is 6.5 million, which is at 65% reimbursement from the state. Completion status is about 50% complete. This is particularly for the northeast corner and expecting the final completion of this phase for April 2026. Next slide. So as we go from the exterior of the building back into the interior, so you can see the masonry is coming to the completion. To the top right, you'll see a mock-up of the exterior brick, which complements the existing exterior brick. The bottom photos are of the interior of the addition. This particular addition was for the mechanical spaces and also to extend the cafe. So you start seeing these spaces take form. Next slide. For the classrooms and support spaces, from the top, working their way down, they're installing the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing inside these spaces, as well as framing, as you can see in the pictures, drywall, and then you can see the bottom middle sections, you'll see some of the electrical closet has been installed. They have some panels up there. They're starting that process. In the lower ground floor, they completed their plumbing and electrical rough-ins, and the concrete slab was also poured last week. So we're moving along on the inside of the building. Next slide. So for the months of November, December, and January, we'll start to close in that addition with the install of the roof, as well as the vapor barrier for the exterior walls. We'll also see the install of the doors, windows, frames, and once everything is watertight, we'll start pulling in the power and data wires, and ultimately install the hot water heater inside that mechanical space. And for the classrooms and support spaces, as you can see in the pictures that was presented previously, metal studs have been completed on the upper levels and is working its way down. Insulation has been installed. Drywall will continue to be installed on the lower levels. Painting is the next process, as well as installing the ceiling grids. And after the above ceiling inspection, we'll start seeing the placement of ceiling tiles and ultimately preparing for the floors in the month of January, February of next year. Any questions on the Batanza School?
Great to see progress as always. I have one question on the percentage of reimbursement, which shows 65%. And I think, would you walk me through that percentage?
Yeah, so that was based on our last reimbursement submission. So once we submit for the next one, we'll divide it by the total paid to date.
Okay, so it's really that reimbursed number over the paid to date number?
It was the previous paid to date when we submitted it. So as the numbers go up and we submit for next reimbursement, we'll see more of an accurate reflection of that percentage.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Judy. Any further questions on the board? Okay, Judy, back to you.
Mm-hmm. So for EB Kennelly, we're at 88.1% for the, 88.1 million for the project budget. Paid to date is at 14.3 million. Reimbursed is 5.4 million, which is at 51% reimbursement. For the schedule, for the addition and the site work, we're about 40% complete. In the Northeast classroom, we're about 20% complete. Expected turnover for these spaces will be August of 2026. Next slide. So for the addition, you can see a lot of progress on site. The majority of the steel has been installed. There's one final section to be installed. The stair tower for the masonry is in progress. And you can start seeing the spaces start to be defined for the north portion of the site. The top right picture is of a classroom that's going to be a science classroom. And the lower left is spaces that are going to look inside the courtyard. And you can actually see the bottom right. That's going to be the new media center for the addition. Next slide. So for the Northeast classrooms, the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing rough-ins are taking place, as well as you see the ceiling drywall has been installed on the first and second floors. So as we go in the process of completing these, we'll start to do the walls and continue the framing and drywalls as we progress in the coming months. Next slide. So for November, December, and January, we'll start seeing the install of the kitchen underground utilities, as well as the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing rough-ins. And then the last section of the exterior structural steel will start to be installed. Inside the building, the infill of the bleachers will take place in the gym, as well as the framing will continue. Install of the drywall inside the classrooms and the painting of the walls and preparation for the floors sometime in January, February of next year. Any questions on the Kennelly School? Next slide. So for the Freddie Lewis School, total budget is at 67.2 million. Paid to date is at 7.7 million. Reimbursed is 5.8 million, which is about 76%. Bidding is currently still in progress with the scheduled completion of December 2025. Next slide. So exciting news, we did start mobilization with our site contractor. They started the process of setting up the waste storage bins for soil characterization. And they also started cleaning up the site, removing some trees. In these pictures, you'll see an aerial view of the trees that are going to be saved on site. You can also see in the bottom left is the memorial for the fire, circus fire as well. Next slide. So in the months of November, we'll continue the site clearing as well as installation of the foundations. In December and January, we'll continue that process. Also, we're probably looking for GMP approval for next month. The rebid of those bid packages will be going out later on this week. Any questions on the Wish School? And just to let you guys know, the picture is a picture from Barbara looking into the site.
The picture of what was that?
The picture that you see is a picture onto the site from Barber Street, and you're looking into the site.
Thank you. I see a hand raised by Ms. Brody.
Hello. One clarifying question: the Circus Memorial, we're not contributing any funds to that, correct?
Correct. We are not contributing any funds to that.
Secondly, what is going out for rebid?
There was 3 packages. There's 1 for acoustical and 2 for low voltage electrical.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Judy, does that conclude the end of the report?
Yes, we're all set.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Which brings us to the last item on the agenda, other business. And I just wanted to use this time to briefly speak to the schools that are currently paused right now, and as to why they're, a few weeks ago, the mayor, and I don't have much of a substantive update to this point. However, when I do, I would ensure to bring that to this board, especially as it pertains to the progress of school construction. A few weeks ago, the mayor did go out with a press conference along with other agencies to speak to the plan to ensure that there is a partnership moving forward as we look at a comprehensive understanding of our physical space, the schools that exist within Hartford, and what construction looks like, or what physical space looks like for the future. Yeah, I had to use this moment to at least, draw a little bit of attention to that, because that directly affects whether or not, or when we move forward with construction. And it certainly depends on what this comprehensive plan looks like and the outcome and the results of that plan. So I don't have much of a substantive update, but I ensure that this board, that as I receive those updates, and especially when it relates to the progress of construction, I would be sure to speak to those updates in this forum. Ms. Brody.
Thank you. So what you described is, I don't think it's totally accurate. The mayor had a press conference with a few folks standing behind him, and he's trying to get some type of team together to, I can't even articulate what he's trying to do, but put together a plan. At the very most, his only thing he can do with his plan is present it to the Hartford Board of Education, because all that he's doing, he doesn't have the authority to. He doesn't have the authority to close schools. He doesn't even have the authority to pause construction. So what my demand is actually today is, because no one has been able to, Corps Council has not been able to provide anything to state that he has the authority to pause. So the demand today from me as the chair of the Hartford Board of Education is that we resume construction. We're sitting around, we're waiting for a plan that does not, Yeah, we're waiting on a plan that he doesn't even have a meeting for, but at the very most, his plan is something he can just present to the Board of Ed. He can't do anything concerning Hartford Public Schools. So why would we, the governing body of school construction, be waiting on a plan that we don't even know what it's going to say? It wasn't articulated clearly in any kind of way. And this has been going on month after month. This is the governing body. And because we did not pause the construction should be continuing.
I appreciate your comments, Ms. Browder. We do have Ms. Meserick on the line who spoke to, per your request, Ms. Brody, points of authority as it relates to the different entities when it comes to school construction. I could ask Ms. Meserick to expound on that. However, I'm not sure that would be the best use of this particular time. I do hear your request loudly, Ms. Browdy, and I will take it under her advisement. And I'm unsure if that's a continued raise hand or if it's
I don't know. I don't understand what you're saying right now. Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying right now, because this is the perfect meeting and place to discuss this, because this is the body that governs construction. The mayor does not. You're here representing the city. Councilman Clark is here representing the city. A few others appointed however they got here, but the mayor single-handedly does not have that authority. School construction starts and stops by a vote of city council, by the vote of Board of Ed, and by a vote of this body. None of those bodies have revisited this situation. The mayor does not have the authority. It has not been pointed out. Actually, Corp Council is sitting on another request because no one can say it because he does not have the authority, because if he did, they would have clearly pointed that out by now. It's been month after month. So I'm asking for, because he does not have that authority, for construction to be resumed.
Yeah, Ms. Browder, your comments are stated in a way that perhaps make it seem factual what you're saying, but every movement that we're making is not without Corporation Council's input, which certainly guides, which certainly guides how we move forward. So perhaps it is best then to give the floor to Ms. Meserick, who I believe addressed the authority question the last meeting that we had, or perhaps it was a prior meeting. So I'll ask Ms. Lori Meserick, who is the deputy counsel for the city, to speak a bit to that.
Yeah, I think I would just reiterate that what was prepared regarding the request with respect to the various roles that each of the entities plays is what my office thus far has provided with respect to the pause on the construction projects. And so I don't really have much more to say than what is contained in that memorandum and what has been shared with all members of this group. If there are follow-up questions, then they can certainly be directed to our office. But that is the scope of what has been presented thus far.
Thank you, Ms. Meserick. And I'll just add, I'll say that, the goal of this is to certainly ensure that we are moving forward in a comprehensive way, because we face deficits every year, and our schools aren't 100% filled that currently exist. And as we're looking at construction projects, we would like to ensure that there is a comprehensive plan as we look to build more / renovate, I should say, not just build. Okay.
Can I speak to the
Ms. Rowdy?
memo? Because the memo does not give the mayor the authority to single-handedly stop construction. So if we want to refer to the memo, we can. I've already sent follow-up, which has not been answered in 2 weeks. And I think what you're missing is that the mayor does not have the authority to do anything concerning our schools. And if we look at the memo doesn't align with the Connecticut General Statutes. If we look, we can't pretend here and we can't say, oh, we want to look out for the best interest. None of our schools are 100% filled. Nobody's school in the greater Hartford area that takes Hartford kids, none of their schools are 100%. What the mayor is doing is hurting enrollment. He's not helping. But I'm going to stand on the fact that he does not have the authority. The memo doesn't say he does, and Corp Counsel is not coming out directly saying he does, because he does not. So why are we paused? Because everything he's trying to exercise is under the jurisdiction of the Hartford Board of Education.
Well, Ms. Brody,
as far
I'll
as
take
his
it.
planning.
I didn't realize you weren't finished. Please, Ms. Brody.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Thank you. I will take your comments under advisement. I mean, I'll give Corporation Counsel to a moment to speak if there is a response to that. Otherwise, I think it's best to I'll take your comments. Please know that they're well received, and I will take other questions if you have any, or if the board has any.
No, I'm not asking a question. I'm making a demand. There's a difference, because this is the only board, all of us sitting here, that has the authority to pause construction, which we did not do. The mayor did. He does not sit on this board, and you're representing him, and you don't even have a vote on this board. So if somebody can't answer for me right now or show me where he has that authority, which has not been done, we should not be paused.
Okay, perhaps then it's worth a follow-up for Corporation Counsel. Again, what I will emphasize is that we are not moving forward in a way that is we continue to move forward in a way that is above board and with legal counsel. So Shantae, everything you're mentioning opposes that that basis point, and perhaps it's worth a discussion and a conversation with Corporation Counsel, because every single thing you're mentioning, and that's why I keep saying that I will take your comments under advisement, is in opposition to what has been determined by the Corporation Counsel office.
I think you're repeating stuff, but you're not hearing me, and you're not responding to what I am actually saying. I'm not asking you to take anything under advisement. How do we add, am I able to make a motion, or how do we add something to the agenda? Because this is getting absolutely ridiculous in what we're doing. And we're listening to someone who does not sit in this body.
I'm unsure what you mean, Ms. Brody, with respect to.
Because you can't pause construction without it coming through here. So how are you doing it? That's my question.
Miss Masaryk?
The mayor has the ability, right, to take any action that will move forward towards the consummation of the school building project, right? That's outlined in the memo. So I think that's where the authority is coming from with respect to what is happening here. And so that is where we are. And if, Ms. Brody, if there are additional questions that you'd like us to review, we can do that. And my
We've
office will
already
do
no, we've already sent you
And-
correspondence that you haven't responded to.
Well, that's not entirely fair. You've sent correspondence, it's been provided to the Corporation Council. It is being reviewed.
For
And
2
so
weeks.
it's being reviewed.
Because you guys, I just feel like you guys are stalling, trying to roll a rock down the road when you know this is not in procedure.
Well, I can assure you from where I sit, there's no stalling on my part or this office's part. So know that. And you can take that however you want it, but I can assure you that.
Thank you, Ms. Measure.
I've definitely taken it. If we ask a simple question and we point out in the Connecticut general statutes pertaining to school boards, we pointed out why the mayor does not have the authority. And it's a simple question. Show us that he does, that fits in these statutes. And it's been over 2 weeks and it's been no response from Corp Council. So that's pretty simple to respond to.
I think, just I appreciate that you think it's simple, but I don't know that it is so simple. And so I don't want you to believe or think that, a 2-week period going by where you're not getting a response has anything other to do than the fact that it's being reviewed, as well as all of our other work is being reviewed. And there's no reason for that 2-week period other than just that.
Thank you, Ms. Measuring. I will say that we are not moving forward in a way that is in opposition from what the Corporation Council recommends based off of review. And in this particular case, that happens to affect the projects to which there is no point in. We're not. The stalling is, I feel like, is also an unfair word. I keep emphasizing the fact that we are ensuring that there is a comprehensive look at a path forward, and that is ultimately the goal.
We are
here.
I'll wait for
we are here right now, taking, Ms. Brownie's comments, and I think we'll ensure that your comments are responded to, and we plan to. And as Ms. Meserick said, it is being reviewed for a response. Ms. Brownie.
You're saying that every single month, and months are passing by, and Hartford residents are not at work. Kids, a stall on kids getting the appropriate buildings that they deserve. So the mayor has this imaginary idea of what schools should be, while he also doesn't have a desire to really learn about Hartford Public Schools. There already has been a study done. That's how we got the state approval for the construction. We've done all that. So what you're saying, it sounds crazy to me, because all the things you're saying needs to be done, all of those things have been done. And again, I don't know how we're operating in these spaces and we're not referring to the general statutes that we should be operating under in the state of Connecticut concerning education, boundaries, separation of city and school districts, and those separations are set up for a particular reason. This body is set up with voting members in a certain way for a specific reason too, for the very reason of why a mayor does not have the authority to say, whoop, I'm stopping construction because I have to get time to learn about something I don't know. And I'm begging people to be a part of a study to come up with something that he probably already has an idea of how he wants it to look. Is ridiculous. But I'm glad this is recorded so the public can see just what the city of Hartford does and stands on.
Ms. Browser, I again, always, I appreciate your comments. I do think it's, that may not have been the most fair characterization, but again, I will continue to update this board as opposed to holding everyone here for a conversation, a back and forth conversation with Ms. Browdy and I and the team. I will continue to update this board as it relates to progress of construction. With that, may I have a motion to, last item on the agenda is adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Little.
are we going to revisit the public participation that was brought up at the beginning of the meeting, or?
Yes, I spoke to that earlier in my comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I think what Tony was getting at was to have either Stan or Julia check to see if they're.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant me read it. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Mr. Little. Julia, I see you there. Any items? Particular items?
I do not see any public comment.
Okay. Thank you. Just a reminder, when we do send public comments to julia.jack@hartford.gov, please put in the subject matter HSBC meeting so we can refer back to it. With that, the last item on the agenda is adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. May I have a second? Or we can just stay on the call for a few more hours. May I have a second to adjourn the meeting? Okay, Ms. Davis Googe. I have to, Mr. Thank you, Ms. Davis Googe. All in favor, say aye, raise your hands.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
I'm going to assume no nays or abstentions. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and have a great day.
Thank you.